Alright, what's up guys? It's Cool Trader Andrew here, and I have played a lot of, not just a lot, I played every Pokemon game in existence. Games from Emerald, to Ruby, to Heart Gold and Soul Silver, even to X and Y, Sun and Moon, and even the most recent era with Shining Pearl and Pokemon Shield, which I have right here. But what is the true best game of all of the Pokemon series? Now, I'm sure all of us have asked this question before, and I am here to give everybody my thoughts and opinions on the best Pokemon games, plural, of all time. Now, I realize some of you might not agree necessarily with my choices, but I am doing this out of pure fun, and I hope that if you don't see your favorite, it's not that I don't like the game per se. I'm just ranking all of the games as to how I would play them now, and I'm trying to keep nostalgia kind of out of it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. So let's go ahead and start with the OGs, your red, blue, and yellow version. So Pokemon Red, oh goodness, if I don't mess up my screen there. Okay, so Pokemon Red, I like it a lot. It was my first Pokemon game. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put Pokemon Red into the C tier. I loved Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. I really did, but it's a little bit hard to go back and play those today, just because, I mean, graphics are a big thing, but also, the games really did have a lot of bugs back then. The whole Visigo glitch, while it was fun to do, especially when I was like 7 years old, it's just still something that I probably wouldn't see myself playing nowadays. I would definitely play Yellow though if I had to choose, since Yellow was definitely the best in my opinion. So I think they're still solid games. I think C tier is good for them. Coming up next, we've got Gold, Silver, and Crystal. So let's go ahead and start with Gold and Silver. So Gold and Silver, I'm going to put in the same category. Unfortunately, it's still, some of the same things. Gold and Silver were great games. They definitely were when they came out, but they kind of had a lot of the same things Red, Blue, and Yellow had going for them. Gen 2 was just kind of weird in general because there were so many Johto Pokemon that the gym leaders could have used, but instead they basically ended up using a bunch of Kanto Pokemon like Faulkner and his Pidgey and his Pidgeotto. I'm just like, there's like literally a Hoot and like whatever other Johto bird Pokemon, that's like in the beginning, and Faulkner just chooses a Pidgey and a Pidgeotto. It felt too much like Kanto for me, which is why I'm also putting him in C rank. Now, Crystal though, Crystal is going into B, and I really like Pokemon Crystal because it did improve on Gold and Silver as a whole. The only thing with Pokemon Crystal though that I didn't like was that you can't catch Mareep. Like, the whole Ampharos line is just, like, gone. So, like, what the heck? But, Crystal's cool because if you purchase it on the Virtual Console now, you can actually get Celebi, an event that was never released in the original game. You can actually catch it now. I have Crystal downloaded through the eShop. I just need to go to the end of the game, obviously, and catch the Celebi. So I'm still working on that, and I'm super excited to finally be able to do that event. So moving on, next we have let's go with Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. So Ruby, I'm gonna rank Ruby and Sapphire out of B tier. Just a little higher above Red, Blue, and Yellow, and Gold and Silver, just because Ruby and Sapphire. Now, I said I wasn't going to let nostalgia play a big part into this, but Hoenn really, truly is my favorite generation ever. Gen 3, there was just so many special things about it. I remember I was playing baseball when I was like 6 or 7 years old, and I managed to hit a home run, and my dad took me to Walmart after the game, and I saw Pokemon Ruby in the case, and I begged my dad, and eventually he got it for me. And ever since then, I was just playing Ruby and Sapphire nonstop. They really are great games. They've got a great story, great characters, great villainous arcs, and all that good stuff. So we're going to go ahead and put those in B tier. Fire Red and Leaf Green. I'm also going to put those in B tier. I really liked Fire Red and Leaf Green. They were definitely significant improvements over Red, Blue, and Yellow. Mostly because of the Sevi Islands. Now, if anybody isn't familiar with what the Sevi Islands are, basically they are a post-game area in Fire Red and Leaf Green that you can just go around and catch a bunch of Pokemon from different regions, and I thought that was really unique. I look at games like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and unfortunately they don't have the post-game, but they do make up for a lot of other good things, and we'll go over those eventually. But yeah, just wanted to give some praise to Fire Red and Leaf Green. I really liked how they used Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald's engine, that's what it's called, to run the games, and I thought that was really cool. Emerald is going to go into A tier. Emerald is a fantastic game. It really is. I really like Pokemon Emerald because not only can you fight Team Magma and Aqua, but you can also basically have that cutscene where Rayquaza comes down into Topolis City and stops Kyogre and Groudon from fighting. I thought that was just so cool. To see that on the GBA back in the day was honestly a treat. And also, the Battle Frontier is there as well, and it just provided hours and hours of post-game content. So, if y'all haven't played Emerald before yet, I highly recommend Emerald. It's a great game. Moving on though, next we've got Gen 4, so Diamond and Pearl. So Diamond and Pearl, I'm actually going to put into the C tier. Unfortunately, Diamond and Pearl had a lot of issues when they first came out onto the DS. They ran really slow. I swear, the HP bars took so long to, go down. I would basically, someone would have a Blissey, right? And I'd throw out a Lucario. I would use Aura Sphere on it. And the health bar, I swear, once I hit that Blissey, it had so much health, it was just trickling down and down and down. And I swear, it took 5 minutes to finally, end up fading. So, Diamond and Pearl also had some issues where they did not have any Fire-type Pokemon in the beginning at all, except for Ponyta. And I thought that was super annoying, to be honest, because I'm a Chimchar stan myself. I love Chimchar. It's definitely my favorite Gen 4 starter. But if you want to use, Piplup or Turtwig, for instance, you always want some fire coverage, and unfortunately Diamond and Pearl didn't provide that. And they didn't really provide, half the Pokedex either, which was unfortunate. On the surface, they seemed like okay games, but unfortunately, when they first came out, they just weren't that good. Okay, next up, we've got Pokemon Platinum. That is also going into A tier. Pokemon Platinum is actually one of the best ways to experience Sinnoh, in my opinion, other than BDSP, but we'll get there later. Pokemon Platinum was really cool because it did flesh out the Team Galactic story a lot more than Diamond and Pearl did. We got to meet a few new characters like Looker and Sharon. I thought they were really cool. The Distortion World was cool too. I really wish we could have gone back in the remakes. It's just a really fun little area. But yeah, Platinum really is the best way one of the best ways to experience Sinnoh. I really liked how, it was faster too. You got access to more of the Pokedex, and all that good stuff. And all the traders didn't use, Bidoof, Starlies, all that good stuff, so, Platinum is great. Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I'm going to actually go ahead and put these in A tier as well. Heart Gold and Soul Silver basically took Johto's Gold and Silver and made them a lot more better. There's a ton of features in Heart Gold and Soul Silver that I just love. They are filled with content. You could still go back to Kanto like you could in Gold and Silver. It was just so many cool things you could do in those games, and the cutscenes, the sprite animations are gorgeous. They added new areas like the Safari Zone, and so much more. If you guys haven't played Heart Gold or Soul Silver yet, I highly recommend these games. They are just amazing. Okay, and then next is Generation 5 with Black and White, Black 2, and White 2. And I'm going to go ahead and put Black and White in our first GOAT tier. Black and White 2 as well. Because Black and White, oh my gosh, is just such a magical ride from the beginning. A lot of people didn't like these games because you couldn't catch any of the older Pokemon. It was all new Pokemon through the entirety of Black and White. But the story is so good. It took the foundation of Pokemon and just made it to the extreme. Like, Ed as a character is just amazing. I've never been able to relate with somebody as much as Ed before on Pokemon. Team Plasma was one of the coolest teams. They're currently ranked my second favorite team, evil team of all time. Their goals to liberate the Pokemon was genius. They're basically Pokemon PETA. Like, I just think that's such a cool idea. So, yeah, Pokemon Black and White, Black 2 and White 2, which takes Black and White even the further levels. We've never had a sequel game for a Pokemon game before besides Black and White 2, and they took what made Unova great and made it even more spectacular by adding lots of new areas, new towns. Sharon and Bianca grew up a little bit and each got roles. Sharon is a gym leader, Bianca is the Professor Juniper's assistant. They play a big role in the story. I love seeing rivals make character progression like that. Not to mention, like, Chorus. Do we even need to talk about Chorus and how cool he is? Like, his theme song is one of the dopest theme songs in all of Pokemon. Like, I could talk about Black and White and Black 2 and White 2 forever, but we still have some more games to rank, so we'll go ahead and move on. But yeah, these are GOAT tier games, and I cannot wait for the Gen 5 remakes. I'm so excited for them. Okay, so moving on, we are now in the 3DS era, and we're going to start with Pokemon X and Y. Actually, I'm going to put X and Y in B tier, because I don't think they were necessarily bad games. X and Y did get a lot of criticism for basically not having as good of a story, but honestly, in my opinion, I thought the story was pretty okay. The rival characters could have been better. Maybe it would have been better with just Serena or just Caleb instead of like the whole friend group with Shauna, Tierno, and all those guys. But I really liked Team Flare, as goofy as they were. I really liked their design. Their admins kind of sucked because they didn't really have a lot of personality, but honestly that didn't stop me from enjoying the games. I also liked Lysander too. Like, yeah, he was obviously the villain, but still, like, I kind of liked what he was going for, trying to use the ancient weapon that AZ built and was trying to basically blow up the entire Kalos region with it. I thought that was a really cool storyline. And there are so many things in Kalos that could have been improved on with a Pokemon Z game, and unfortunately we just never ended up getting it, and at this point I just don't think we ever will. So that's unfortunate. But moving on here, I'm going to go ahead and put Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby in the GOAT tier, because Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are such good games. Like, Ruby and Sapphire were already good, but Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire takes these games to a whole new level. I love incorporating Mega Evolution in those games. I love revamping Team Magma and Aqua. Courtney is definitely one of my favorites admins of all time. I love how she looks on Team Magma with her pink hair and tsundere-like personality. I just think that's so cool. The only thing that was sad was, unfortunately, the Battle Frontier was not in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but there were just so many other features that made up for it, like fighting Steven as the champion was really cool. I also really liked flying around on Latios and Latias and being able to catch them early. You got access to all of the Pokemon to that generation, so Gen 1 through 6. You could transfer them up. I think that was really cool. And yeah, like, just the whole like revamp of Hoenn in those games was done extremely well. I loved May as a rival. Her character progression is so amazing, and she still remains one of my favorite rivals to date. And yeah, there's so much I could say about these games, but they're just magnificent. I love them so much. Next we have Sun and Moon, and I'm going to go ahead and put Sun and Moon in the B category there. So, Sun and Moon, when they first came out, I thought they were really fun games. I wasn't really accustomed to the whole, like, trial thing yet. There was a lot of new Pokemon that I really liked, like Primarina and Cineroar. I also really liked Mudbray. What was that one's name again? Kamalo? No, not the fighting dragon. It's like Koma something. I think you guys know what I'm trying to say, but Komao. I think that's it. Yeah. Komao. Lycanroc. Like, I love the Alola region and what they did with it. There was a lot of side quests in Sun and Moon. I really like the whole Lusamine story where she basically bonds with Nihilego and tries to, you know, take over the world again with the Ultra Beasts and all that good stuff. So, Sun and Moon are very good games. Ultra Sun and Moon, though, I'm going to put into the A tier as well. Ultra Sun and Moon are really, really good games. Of course, they were basically mostly the same as Sun and Moon, but Ultra Sun and Moon made so many changes that was just so worth it. Like, that Ultra Necrozma battle it has one of my favorite themes ever in a Pokemon game. It's like, literally, the power of friendship when you're fighting Ultra Necrozma is just slapping you in the face with that theme, and it was just such a fun, exciting battle, and I really hope they bring Ultra Necrozma into the Switch games one of these days. It's just such a cool form. I really liked in the post-game where you could fight all of the Team Magma and Aqua members. That was really cool. The Team Rocket, Getsus, all of those bad villains at the end, you could just fight them, and they each had their own legendary Pokemon too, as if they succeeded in the other realm, and I thought that was really cool. Let's see here, what else about Ultra Sun and Moon? The new Ultra Beasts, those are really cool, really appreciated those. There was also the fusion with Necrozma, with Solgaleo and Lunala, those were really awesome. There's a lot I could say about Ultra Sun and Moon, but I just think they're really good games. And then finally, we get into the Switch era. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, I'm actually going to put in A tier as well. Now, there's quite a few reasons why I'm putting them in A tier. So, I understand that the catching mechanics for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee were not that great, but honestly, there was a lot of other features that made up for it. To start with, the graphics look amazing in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. They're just gorgeous. I loved being able to see Kanto remade for the third time now. I believe the third time. Oh no, it's the fourth time, sorry. I love seeing Kanto remade for the fourth time now in those beautiful graphics. The following Pokemon were top-notch. I know Game Freak hasn't been doing so good on following Pokemon lately, so to see the following Pokemon follow you so close, they aren't like way over yonder when you like look behind you. I just think that was so cool that they were able to implement that feature and perfect it. I just don't understand why they couldn't do that in like Sword and Shield or like even BDSP. It's unfortunate, but it really is what it is. The only complaint I have about Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu is their post-game is kind of weak, but compared to like the original Red, Blue, and Yellow, they were basically trying to go off of that, so they didn't really have much of a post-game anyways to really go off of. And then we do have 3 more games that I did not add to the list because they didn't have them, so I'm just going to be telling you guys where I would rank Legends Arceus and all that good stuff, so bear with me just a moment. Okay, so let's start with Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield, I also believe, are an A tier. Now, Sword and Shield had a ton of controversy when they first came out, and I could definitely see why they were controversial. The whole Dex thing, I remember watching that E3 presentation when Masuda and Awori were sitting with their translator, and they were saying Pokemon could only be transferred into this game if they appear in the Galar Dex. And honestly, at first it broke my heart because I'm like, well, what about my Greninja? Like, I want to play with Greninja and Galar, why can't I do that? And a bunch of other Pokemon as well. And I totally get where the fan base is coming from with that, but I also get where the developers are coming from too, because with the addition of Gen 9 coming, Scarlet and Violet, we are well over, or just about, at 1,000 Pokemon, and that's a lot to program in. So I'm trying to give the developers a little bit of leeway here. I know the wild area wasn't perceived great as well, but honestly, like, when I first played these games and went through the wild area, it was a magical experience, being able to see so many Pokemon in one place. And Sword and Shield are also very, very good games for competitive as well, and if you guys are into competitive, like, they made it so easy to EV trade and IV trade with the bottle caps and Sword and Shield. It was just a really fun time. The Pokemon designs were on par, they were amazing, and honestly, like, I hope we get something really good, like, again, with Scarlet and Violet, so I'm hoping that will be good. So we've got about 3 more games left. Unfortunately, I don't have icons for them, but next let's talk about Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. Now, BDSP, I would put in the A tier, and here's why. Before you, like, get your pitchforks out and, like, all of that good stuff, hear me out, guys. Hear me out about BDSP. So, Pokemon Platinum is definitely a game that really enhanced Sinnoh compared to the original Diamond and Pearl, but what BDSP does is really good as well. Now, I understand that Ilka basically did like a whole copy and paste of Diamond and Pearl, but they made it so much better. Like, a lot of people complained about not being able to find, like, Fire-type Pokemon in the beginning, but you could literally go underground and find, like, a Houndoom at, like, badge number 2. It's so good. So you could go down there, find a Houndoom, you could find the Camerupt, you could find the Magby. Like, they made the Fire Pokemon so much more available. And yeah, it sucks that you kind of have to go out of your way. They're not in the grass like they were in Platinum. But, like, you're missing a whole treasure trove of Pokemon in the underground that BDSP fixed compared to the original Diamond and Pearl. I also noticed with BDSP as well is, like, you don't have to use HMs anymore, which is huge. Like, the reason why I don't go back and play Platinum anymore is because of the HMs mostly. Like, I don't want to have, like, a Bidoof on my team just to, like, no Rock Smash, Surf, whatever else there is, Cut, and, like, Rock Climb. Like, that sucks. Like, I hated using HM slaves back in the day, and honestly, to have that quality of life improvement is just such a good thing for BDSP. The only thing I don't like about BDSP is, yes, they didn't include features like the Distortion World, but they made up for it a little bit by, you know, giving us access to Ramadas Park fighting that level 100 Shadow Giratina that's in like a little distortion like room. Like, obviously, and they even give it the platinum theme. So I promise you guys, like, Game Freak did not forget about Pokemon Platinum when they made BDSP. Like, the quality of life changes really saved the game, in my opinion. And honestly, like, if I were to rank Platinum and BDSP, I think BDSP I like a little bit more. And again, before you get your pitchforks out and torches, like, that's just my opinion at the end of the day, but I really do like BDSP as a game. Yes, it's not perfect. Yes, it has flaws. Yes, the following Pokemon suck, but at the end of the day, you know, it makes for a really good experience, and a lot of people didn't play Gen 4 when it first came out, so the fact that this new generation gets to experience that, I just think is really cool. So yeah, BDSP is going into A tier. And then finally, for our last game is Legends Arceus, and Legends Arceus and I have kind of a weird relationship. I'm going to go ahead and start by putting Legends Arceus in the B tier, and here's why. So, Legends Arceus, I really liked the idea of catching Pokemon. It was focused more on the catching than the battling, and I think that was cool. The Pokemon models looked really amazing. Game Freak gave them some new animations. I love the alpha Pokemon. Those were really cool. I think the story was okay as well. I thought it was fun. The main character fight was one of the, or the main boss fight, I should say, was one of the hardest fights in the series, but of course I don't really want to spoil it for anyone, so we won't talk about it, but as a whole, I really liked Legends Arceus, but I felt like it was missing something. Now, I am a person who plays Pokemon mostly for battling, and unfortunately, and I understand why, it was due to the time frame back in the Hisui region before it was Sinnoh. Pokemon and people were separate, so there just wasn't a lot of battling going on, and I get that. I really do, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like, yes, we definitely were able to explore and catch Pokemon, but it was a little tedious for me, and even with, like, the battle facility that they have in Jubilife Village, it's like, battling the same people over and over again is... It can be fun at first, but then it gets repetitive. Like, I just prefer something like the Battle Tower. Also, I did not like the Agile and Strong style at all, to be honest, in Legends Arceus. It just made the battling system very unbalanced and not fun. I would literally click a move, and they would basically, I'd do like an Agile quick attack or something. But for some reason, due to the battling system, like, the opposing Pokemon would get like 4 or 5 moves on me before I could even attack. And it's the same with, like, sending a Pokemon out as well. Like, I couldn't even, like, select a move before the opposing Pokemon would just attack it. And I just didn't think that was fun, to be honest. So, like, in the end, I really liked what Legends Arceus had going for it, but it's just, it's really hard to get replayability on the game because of those issues. There's just not a lot of battle facilities. Once you hit research level 10 on all the Pokemon, like, it's just shiny hunting from there. And, you know, I put in like 700 plus hours of Pokemon Sword and Shield just due to their post-game content and repeat value, but with Legends Arceus, I just feel like I didn't get it. But yeah, guys, that is the whole tier list. As you can see, I didn't put any games in D tier because I truly don't think there is a bad Pokemon game. I think all Pokemon games are good in their own way. Let me know, though, what you guys think in the comments below, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, and don't forget to follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/CoolTraderAndrew. I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday on Twitch, and would love to see you guys. Alright, take care, peace out.